Hi loves, it's Britt, and in this video I'm going to talk about what it means to have your natal Saturn in Aries. So what is Saturn? Saturn is the planet of responsibility, limitation, struggle, what is so difficult for us, but where we ultimately develop mastery. It's kind of like the karmic planet of our karmic energy in this lifetime, along with the South Node as well for karma. So, people with Saturn and Aries have a difficult time with their concept of self and who they are in relation to the world. And they also have a struggle with their assertiveness and aggressiveness and how much force to use. So what I've noticed with this placement is they can either be like super Aryan, like aggressive, like no tact, like totally me first, and they have a really hard time seeing themselves from an outside perspective. Or they can kind of vacillate between that and being really not having enough assertiveness or aggression or that ability to have the courage to do what is right for them. So they have this internal struggle with like too much force or not enough. Okay. And so the lesson with this placement is really around like the right use of that Martian force. So, Mars and Aries, that's our basic drive for life, for anything. That is our drive to go and get something and to hunt, to fight, the sexual impulse. It's all very root chakra energy. So with this placement, there can be either an overcompensation, which actually I've seen more of that, or there can be a lack of those qualities and those basic drives. So this placement is actually in its fall. So Saturn is exalted in the sign of Libra, the scales, it does well there. So this can be a more difficult placement because when you think about it, like that Aries, that first house, that drive, like that's like Aries is like the first breath of life when you are born. That is your first breath, like that is the time of birth. That's like that, first moment of life is Aries. So with this placement, more so with Saturn in the first house, like that's separate to this. This is just about Saturn and Aries, but there can be like a difficult entrance, a difficult birth, right? And so it's like, because of that, like let's just say there was a difficult birth, it's like this soul, they remember that when they come to this life, it's like they're not secure. They have to fight. They have to be on guard. They have to, sometimes with this placement, you'll see people who always strike first, right? So like maybe there's not even a fight happening, but the person with Saturn and Aries is going to make sure to be on the offensive side, right? And sometimes they actually end up being the one to actually start the fight because of their defensiveness, or like imagine, so like the baby is like coming out of the mother and like it's very traumatic, like maybe they have to be pulled out or something, or there's like some kind of hospital situation that's very painful for the mother and the baby, and then the baby is like right? And I mean all babies are gonna kind of be like that, right, regardless of Saturn sign, but it's just like the fighting spirit has to start so early on. And so, maybe because I know mostly a lot of younger people with this placement, maybe that's why I've seen more of like them being pretty aggressive and pretty, willing to stand up for what they feel is right, but kind of a lack of those Libran qualities of understanding the other point of view, or understanding how other people are maybe perceiving the situation, or understanding how people are perceiving them. That could be a big blind spot with this placement, is they have no idea how they're coming off to others. And sometimes they can, put people off with their aggressiveness or assertiveness. But, ultimately, it's like the lesson with this is how to be the self, right? So sometimes the reason why they are like that, or why they, project themselves so strongly on a situation, is because they're actually not that solid in their true sense of I am and who they are, and in their generalized safety in being on this planet, right? Like, this is a very root chakra energy where they're just, because it's Saturn and they have to learn this lesson, they're not totally the most calmest or safest people on this planet. They feel like there's something to fight, there's something to win, and they got to be on guard, they got to be prepared for the attack, right? And so that's the reasoning for the behavior. So with this placement, probably more than any of them, the self-awareness can be really not there. And so, like, it's interesting. Like, I not that it would never happen, but I don't know too many of these people who are like really into self-development or learning about that. And that's exactly what they need, is like to learn about the self, to learn about the true self, to heal their need to always be on the offensive, and to kind of like relax into this lifetime, and relax into the body. And so the body can also be a source of either hard work and struggle. So with this placement, we could see like the gym guru, or the trainer. That's a really good expression for this energy, would be some type of athletic ability, and really putting a lot into that, because with Saturn here, they actually do have the energy for that. They have lots of energy to really focus on the body, but sometimes it can actually show up as like a weakness in the body because of the first house influence of Aries, or something that they feel very insecure about in the body. But when this is really expressing from its like highest potential, these people can really be dedicated to that Martian energy. And whether that's through some type of like aggressive workout, that's definitely recommended with this placement to really get the energies flowing, because there's so much Martian energy here, but it's so like restricted, and it's not flowing, right? So a really aggressive like sweaty workout or weightlifting, or something with the body like that, can really help get the energy flowing. And then with that, once they burned off all that energy and they really let it out, then they can actually go into the mind and really think about things, and start to think more, rather than just acting out, and having that kind of defensive attacking energy. They can actually just think more once they've released that energy in some way. And then one of the gifts with this placement is that they can invent something, or they can like really perceive a situation. So this can actually be a gift too, right? I said, of course, can be difficult, but this can actually be really good, how they can perceive a situation without anyone else's input. Like so they actually have this ability to see things truthfully for themselves, like how they need to see them, which will allow them to be super creative, or be super innovative, or be that pioneer, or be that warrior spirit for others, because they're not letting other people's energy and other people's input into them. So then they can actually end up being these creators, or these incredibly courageous warrior people. And that's usually a part of the lesson they have to learn, is the right use of that energy, right? So how to be that warrior, how to develop that courage, but to do it from a real true place of security and groundedness and safety first on this planet, and feeling like, you know, you belong here and you're I am, and it's like a safe place to be, and then fighting for a worthy cause with this, rather than coming from the insecure side where you're just fighting and fighting and fighting because you're not solid in your groundedness, in your safety and security and stability on this planet. So yeah, it's a really interesting placement. I feel like the personalities with this placement, the people that have this are, you know, they're quite fiery. They're quite, there's something unique about them. And, you know, over time, like when they are older, they actually do become more secure in the self, and they really can achieve a lot with this placement because it does have that pioneer spirit and that kind of like innovative quality of Aries and Mars energy, because they can actually end up having that right use of Mars energy, right? Not like people that are Sun in Aries, or like, you know, tons of squares to Mars or something, where they're just always, you know, attacking and all that. They learn how to have the right use of that energy so they can be some of the most active people, some of the most individualized souls on this planet, where they're just really unique, and yeah, they're fun people. There's a lot to it. I mean, this one is yeah, very interesting to see. And you know, I think there's more to it too that I'm maybe not thinking of in this moment, but yeah, I would love to hear your thoughts on this placement. How does it feel having it? What do you notice about people you know with this placement? And I do offer one-on-one sessions. I offer two types of sessions. I offer a one-on-one soul purpose chart reading, and then I also offer a synastry relationship chart reading where we compare two people's charts. So that's super fun. Anyways, love you guys. Thanks for watching this video, and we'll talk soon. Bye.